Hi, today is April 11th, 2020. I'm gonna give a very brief review of some of the most recent news happening in the last week and the status update about the infection numbers and the death numbers trend in US. So uh, I will I will do this review weekly at a weekly basis just to go through some of the infections very quickly. I will try to keep this kind of video less than 10 minutes if there are not too many important news and update, but I will do it weekly though. Meanwhile, I will focus on a lot of my time on the review of early days Wuhan outbreak, and, and we will see what kind of action that the CCP took in the early days and caused so much trouble. And I will try to share also more about the scientific and understandings of where the virus might come from and why it's so deadly. So that's the my short-term plan for the next couple of weeks. All right, let's get started. Quickly review this. And actually, I wanted to, as of yesterday, I wanted to skip this series, but I feel like there's some milestones and happened this week, as I still decided to do it. And one thing is the U.S. infection exceeded 500,000 in April 10th, and the total death number reached 2,000 by April 11th. So that was really unfortunate. And also, you can see that globally, the outbreak is still kind of spreading all over this world, and the total infection numbers have getting closer to 2 million, and the total death is over 100,000, unfortunately. And there's not really anything new we can do about it. We still just need to hope for the discovery of new drugs and the vaccines hopefully come out soon. We just need to probably make a better job and keep social distancing and practicing the personal hygienes and wearing masks. Some of the good news. Uh, the situation in Italy seems to be a lot better. I'm not showing infection numbers because that chart is almost plateau now. They're only seeing a couple of thousand increase every day, and the death numbers also dropped significantly after end of March, and that's a good thing, meaning that the infections may be somehow suppressed, and also the daily death decreased, suggesting that maybe the new medication that was adopted in by end of March, such as hydroxychloroquine and remdesivir, hopefully have some effect. And also the fertility rate seems to be stabilizing also after rapidly increased up to 12% in the last week. It almost doesn't change much. It's only 12.7, up 0.7% in the last week. So it looks like they're getting better, but we still need to be very cautious. Even there's one or two cases, this virus could still cause another second wave. So we still need to do as best as we can to stop this and to prevent any further second wave of outbreak. But in US, things are not looking too good. Maybe there's a couple of weeks lag or delay because the infection started a little bit later in US, and we still see a very rapid increase in terms of the infection numbers. And you can see that as of April 10th, we have exceeded 500,000, and we're still increasing. The infection is still increasing by almost around 30,000 each day, a little bit more, a little bit less, you know. But I hope so that it is not due to the lack of testing or slower testing, because as you can see in these numbers, the positive percentage seems to be much higher compared to about a month ago, suggesting that either there are higher chances of infections overall in US right now, or there is not enough testing kit, or testing standard is really high, so a lot of people are disqualified. The second thing is the fatality rate is still increasing, just like the early days in Italy. It increased up to 1% in the last week, and it's still increasing. And that can be very scary. I'm not sure if it is because of there are just more people, or I don't know. Just it's not a good sign. And if you look at the daily death, it's increasing. I have the average 5-day average curve here too. It's showing that it maybe have a plateau now, but not 100% sure yet. The reason is, uh, like on Sunday, April 5th, some media just claim, oh, this coronavirus spread seems to be slowing down or level off, because they see one day drop and another day about the same, which is wrong, because we all know that was a Sunday. During the weekend, the infection numbers tends to be lower because of some people are off. There's a delay in testing and the report, and so it's really hard to see where we're going right now yet. But looks like we're averaging about 2,000 deaths per day. That is not good. There's just too much death. And more frustrating thing is the very next day, on Monday, April 6th, and the subsequent 2 or 3 days, basically the whole week, the stock market just keep increasing. And I'm not sure if it's follow up of these, I don't want to call it fake news, but it's somehow misleading. And I don't know if it's related to the surge of Dow Jones index, but we'll see, because there's a lot of concern of very high unemployment rate, because the unemployment numbers reached over 10 million people now, and some other concerns about this virus. I don't see why this stock market can keep surging. It doesn't make sense unless it's kind of like what do people call it sometimes, a bear market trap. I don't know. I'm not a expert though, but I'm also a little concerned about the data here, because 2,000 per day is a lot. Because if meaning 1 minute per death is about 1,440 death in one day, so it's over that. Yeah, and there's also some other news too. On April 11th, the New York City says the school will be closed for this entire academic year, at least till August. I I don't think it's a good sign, because they know how bad it is right now in New York City. But it's also a good thing, because the kids tends to be less cautious, right? Because they couldn't, particularly young kids, younger than 10 years old, they don't practice very good in terms of the social distancing or hand hygiene, right? Uh, I- if possible, I do agree that even the factory stores maybe reopen soon. We should at least wait another couple of months for the school to reopen. Just be careful, we don't want the second wave of maybe even more contagious or deadly pandemic outbreak again. So we need to be very careful. But there's also some good news. Is the antiviral drug remdesivir. It shows some early promise, according to a study recently. So the over 2/3 of the severely uh, patients, they should recovery, or in a better condition. They're either out of ICU or fully recover soon. So that's a good thing. But it's not a official clinical trial yet. So we need to wait another couple of weeks to a month to see the real data. But from many sources, I've heard that both hydroxychloroquine and remdesivir show some promise. Of course, they're not the perfect cure. They're not going to cure 100% all the patients, but it does help to improve a lot of cases. At least hopefully we can reduce the death numbers every day and slowing down the possible increase of death. And the third news I want to share here is, it looks like from a Cambridge study, the coronavirus is still constantly mutating. They report several groups of virus that has share the same origin, but in different locations you may have different gene groups or hybrid even. So that means two things. Particularly for the vaccine, it's not a good thing for vaccine, because if the virus does mutate a lot, a single effective vaccine may be really difficult. But let's see, hopefully it's come out, a really effective vaccine can come out, because that's the hope. That's the biggest hope, and possibly the only hope, because the cure is just a medicine. It may suppress the virus, it may not completely kill the virus. So it is only the vaccine can really save this world. So let's hope some scientists can develop a vaccine really quickly soon. And based on that, they're trying to talk about the origins of this virus. I don't have time to share with that today, but I do have some of my opinions, and I will use some of logical reasoning and scientific reports and literatures to discuss in the future video. I'm not ready yet because I want to be very responsible. Unless I'm at least 99% sure what I'm talking about, I will probably still hold on for a little while. But it will be out, I promise. I will make something about that later today. So I think that's all for this week. It's a very short week, nothing fancy, probably because people are just getting used to people dying and the 30,000 increase. Still not a good thing. If everybody is perfectly practicing social distancing and wear face masks and do whatever they can do, we should see a significant drop, but we don't see that yet. So let's keep doing whatever we do, and also sharing the truth and the fact with our friends and family members. Hopefully everybody listens. I know some people just won't listen, but let's just try to help as many people as possible, and let's get this work. Okay, so I will see you guys next week, and thank you again for watching. Have a safe day and weekend. Bye.